Hello, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Julie.
Now we're going to do a review of The Lord of the Rings Adventure to Mount Doom by Cosmos. This is for 1 to 4 players, ages 10 and up. Takes about 50 minutes to play. So this is a cooperative race survival game that simulates all 3 movies or 3 books. So first I'm going to give an overview, and then we'll give a rating, and then the reasons for our rating. So you see here is the board. They mentioned in the rulebook that it's not exactly like the map in the original books. The Fellowship starts out here in Rivendell. Boromir is an ally that you can spend once to help you fight Uruk-hai. You start out with 1 Gandalf card, and there's possible 5 in a deck that you can get. And so allies and Gandalf will help you mitigate bad luck. You see there's different decks that are based on each stage. So here is we're traveling to Lothlorien. There's 7 cards here. One of them we will not place. We don't know which one it will be. Cards 1 and 6 will be face down, and these 4 cards will be face up. You see how they're covering up spaces here, that if these cards are removed, you can move a member of the Fellowship. So for instance, this Balrog card will only happen once. You'll lose courage. And Gandalf will not be available until Helm's Deep if you encounter this card. So that symbol says it's removed. So if it's removed, now Aragorn will be able to move 0, 1, or 2 spaces when we roll 5. So you want to try to keep the Fellowship together. This is why it's simulating the books, because they're going to try to stay together through the whole journey, unlike the books in the movie. You have the Witch King here starting out in Minas Morgul. You lose if the other 8 Nazgul are placed. Here you have Saruman up here, creating his Uruk-hai army. The chieftain starts out here. He can never be defeated except by Treebeard, which could come through a card on Helm's Deep, or is it Gondor?
It was Gondor.
I think it's the Gondor deck. Other Uruk-hai will be placed here. You will not lose if they all get placed. However, it will make battles that much more dangerous with this die, because you start here on the courage track. As I mentioned, you lose a game if the other 8 Nazgul are placed, or if the ring goes off the courage track. You'll see there's an eye here. There's a really nasty card here. I think it's on the Helm's Deep.
I think it is.
No, the Gondor deck.
No, Gondor.
On the Gondor deck, if you roll the die, the number where that card is, you drop automatically down to here. That's how much courage you lose. However, you can get Galadriel, and even if it drops below that, she'll push you back up to here. So there's cards that will help you along the way. Now this is the book here, and you will use this to place dice. Now you must always roll on the first turn, you must roll the 2 black dice, and you can choose which one to place here. You get to choose which 2 of the Fellowship to move. As you see, each one corresponds to their base. Here's Legolas, Aragorn, Gimli, Frodo and Sam, and Merry and Pippin. Now, there's certain encounter spaces. So if you land on here, you place a Nazgul. If you land here, you lose a courage. If someone's already there, though, other people can land there because you're protecting that space. That's one rule that we played wrong. So just to simulate here, let's say we want to move Aragorn. They're all starting in the same space. It doesn't really matter who we pick, although it does matter if you move Frodo to fast. I'll explain that in a minute. So here we go. Well, I'm going to have to place the 1 because that's what I rolled. Now, before the next deck is placed, when we get to the next stage, we could remove a card, we could play Gandalf, but in this part of the game we can't because the encounter deck's already been placed down. So if we move Legolas 3, we're going to get a Nazgul. So I guess we're going to move Aragorn 2. Now we have to add an additional die. Let's say we do move Frodo. We roll it again. Now I don't have to move Frodo. We can move Legolas 6. Let's say we do that. So now we carry out the dice from top to bottom, left to right. So we see what 1 is. We flip it up. Okay, a Nazgul card. So this card basically says you place a Nazgul. And if you place your 8th one, you lose the game. So that's not a good card. We don't want to get ones again. If this card was removed somehow, because there could be Gandalf cards or other allies that can remove a card, then we would be moving Frodo 0, 1, or 2 spaces every time we roll 1. Or we place a 1. Alright, so Aragorn goes 2. Now we carry out to 6. Let's find out what it is. Okay, cool. We got Elrond. And it's a one-use thing. And even though this is a cooperative game, even though I found Elrond, Julie can use it on Elrond on her turn, or I can use it on my turn. So it says here, immediately after a roll, re-roll 1 die of your choice. Only the new value counts. So he stays off to the side. And now Legolas goes 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, a lot of this is manipulating, timing things. Right now, this is where the Fellowship is. Everybody is with Frodo or ahead of Frodo without passing the stage. Now, why is that important? Because if we get into a battle with the Uruk-hai, for instance, or the cave troll. So here's a cave troll. This symbol means that we got to fight a battle. And if we don't succeed, we're going to lose 2 courage. Well, how do you succeed? Well, for every person in the Fellowship that's in the same stage still, that's ahead or on the same space, can help. So this is Aragorn. This is, well, I'll just show you on the card here. It'd be a lot easier than rotating the dice. So we have a 4 and 6 chance that when we get in a battle that you're going to succeed. If you roll Sauron, you lose. If you roll Gandalf, you can succeed if you discard a Gandalf card. So let's say we are fighting the cave troll.
I thought you went automatically with the Gandalf.
If you discard a card.
Ah.
And we have 1 card. If I didn't have this card, it doesn't matter if we roll Gandalf, we can't spin the card.
Got it.
So let's say we are going to fight the cave troll. We rolled a 2.
Okay.
And we roll. Okay, we're all right. Merry and Pippin's in the same space or ahead within the same stages within this area here. And we defeat them. But let's say Merry and Pippin, smoking too much weed, gets ahead. Okay, that's my joke in the game. They're not in the same stage, or it's a situation like this. They're still in the same stage, but Frodo got ahead. So now only blue and green are going to count. And we rolled a purple dagger, so now we go down to courage. So part of the game is managing the Fellowship, trying to keep them within the same stage, either in the same space with Frodo and Sam, or ahead within the same stage. Now, another thing you want to do with the dice, if you can get someone in the Fellowship to land exactly on the stage, you go up a courage. If they go beyond, they don't get a courage. If Sam and Frodo are able to land exactly on the spot of the current stage, we get another Gandalf card. If we roll ahead, we still stop there, but we don't get a Gandalf card. So that's how the game works. When you regardless of where everybody is, if Frodo gets here, the cards for the stage is removed. We get to next. Now we're going to Rohan. We could use this Gandalf card to look at on a counter card. We say we do that. We look at it. Yeah, we can get rid of the Uruk-hai, so we'll get rid of that when we used our Gandalf card. And so we set it up again like this. And now we got to be careful, though, of having the Fellowship be too far behind or too far ahead, trying to land on spots exactly to move up our courage, avoid battles to avoid losing courage, get allies, we can use them at certain times. Now, the game does change differently when we get to Minas Morgul. If anybody is able to land on there exactly when Frodo is there, say they're already there and Frodo gets there, these are behind. Frodo gets a 2-space head start because 2 of the Fellowship are there with him. The others they all go to the waiting area now. And then now, we only roll 1 black die. We still set it up again. Let's say we're down like this. We lost too much courage along the way. So I roll a black die. 6, we reveal it. Eagles come help us. We go up a courage. This card stays here though, that's nice. So we go up a courage, and we go up 1 on the track. So usually, unless Sheila paralyzes us, we go up one on the track. Now Julie rolls. A 6. Wow, we're getting lucky. We go up another on the courage. Now I roll 4. Okay, unfortunately Gollum appears. We go down 2 on the courage. Hey, but we go up the track. Julie rolls 3. This is terrible. So if we roll a 6, Julie's going to roll it here, we lose 5 courage. Where'd you roll? A 3? Mm-hmm. We're okay. We go up 1. Okay, we're 1 die away. My turn. A 1. And we got 2 courage. And we won. Now, mind you, we were showing you the end of the game. We could have been down to here or here, and we got pretty lucky while we were rolling. But at least it gives you an idea that when we get to Mount Doom, it changes compared to what's going on here. And Uruk-hai, by the way, Treebeard can appear at some point and help defeat Uruk-hai permanently forever if he appears. Otherwise, when we fight Uruk-hai, if you say there was 4 Uruk-hai here, you keep rolling you roll the dice for each one. If you win at least once, you can remove one, but the others will stay. But at least with Treebeard, he can remove them permanently for every success that you get. All right, so let's take a look at our rating now.
Were you going to talk about what you liked or didn't like?
No, our rating.
Oh.
You gave this a 7.5.
Yes, so did you.
I gave it a 7.
Oh.
Usually willing to play. Let's talk about our reasons.
Okay, you're first.
Now, I would have rated this lower. And I'll explain. I was going to rate this a 6 at first. Let's see my rating here. You see there's a lot of neutrals. 1 positive and 2 positives and 1 negative. So it is fun. This is why it's a 7 and didn't stay a 6. It's dice allocation. It's a race survival game. So it's thematically inspired. This is what bothered me at first. The first time I played this, it's like, this does not follow the movie. The Fellowship did not stay together the whole time.
Yeah, he was bothered by it.
I had trouble getting over that. But
yeah, he did.
The second time we played, I was like, okay, I'm all right with it. It's inspired by it. If you're bothered by the fact that this doesn't follow the movie exactly, this is not the game for you. I overcame that issue.
Yes, you did. I had no problem with it.
That's why I was only going to give it a 6 at first, okay? And some people might be bothered. That's not how the map really looks. Okay, so if you're going to be bothered by those details, don't get this game.
Right.
So it's not a simulation. It's not simulating the books exactly. Just know that. So why is it a 7? It may go up to an 8 or 9 eventually. Depends on how much more times we play this. It is tense and surprising outcomes. Even though you lose, you're like, oh, that's all right. We lost. It was fun because it is a luck game. What you see here, there is some luck mitigation in strategy. But it's family weight strategy. This is not meant to be like some other games where it takes 2-3 hours to play.
I wouldn't play.
I like the weight of it. It's just the right amount of strategy. When you're playing and you're like going, oh, I wish I can get certain allies. Like when you see us play the first, this one right here, we try to avoid Gandalf fighting the Balrog, because what happens if he does, he won't appear again until Helm's Deep, and he won't be able to use his cards. So it's fun trying to avoid things, and even if you don't roll well, things happen like, oh, that sucks. But you keep on rolling, and usually the luck comes around in other areas where that helps you later on. So just realize there's a lot more luck in this game than some people are willing to accept. And that's why it's a neutral. So this could be a negative for some. It's a group solo effort. There's not enough going on when it comes to your turn that you feel like, I mean, people can give suggestions, right? But you're pretty much going to do obvious things. Though sometimes we do disagree, like, I'm going to move Frodo anyway. And Julia says, no, you shouldn't. I do it anyway. But you can see an alpha player problem here that can happen. In other cooperative games, you have your character. When it's your turn, you do your thing, okay? In this game, you're controlling the same people. So it can lead to some alpha player issues. So that's why it's a negative, because if it's not, this could be a terrible game in the wrong group.
True.
Where somebody's dominating, and it's no fun for the other players.
True.
That's what happens when we played the Fantasy Flight version, the Rainer Knizia version. Remember we played it, and somebody ran the whole game. It was like, well, I guess we're not
that
playing.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, no, but we never played the game again. It's not as bad as that game, where you must do this. This game, there's more wiggle room.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So average components given the MSRP. Now I see different prices for this. I think we got it for $35 at Gen Con. I see it for $40. I see it for $30. Either way, it's decent pieces. They're standees, but they're nice standees. You know, the decent thickness. Let me try to get this in here. There you go. They're decent thickness. The dice are wood, and they are etched. Okay. The card quality is average. It's not the best. It's not the worst.
This is nice.
Yeah, this board is nice, thick quality. The main board is high quality. So given the MSRP, if there's, you could have gotten miniatures, I'm sure, and better cards for $20 more, but they decided to make it more of a family price point. So the dense, excuse me, the rule book is dense, and it'll be a challenge to less experienced players because there's little things that if you don't read it carefully, for instance, we missed this, even though it says important here, because there's not a lot of white space and the examples are small. Some people are going to need to watch a how to play and playthrough. Especially, they're going to have a hard time understanding how combat works. And if you're in the same, this is the hardest part of the game to understand. You're within the same stage. Are you in the same space or ahead without exceeding that stage to help Frodo? So they really needed to include a round of playthrough. So if you're an experienced hobbyist, you'll have no problem with this. One rule we missed, even though it is well marked, because it's dense. Okay, there's little things that if you're not paying attention, you'll miss. Is that when somebody's on an event space, they protect a feature of somebody in the Fellowship from not triggering it. So if Merry and Pippin trigger the Nazgul, which is something they would do, because remember they did that on that mesa, they made a fire. Remember?
Right.
Legolas can land on it because they're protecting it now. So that's one thing we forgot. You can make the game harder on yourself if you forget that rule. All right, so let's see what Julie has to say.
Not as much as David. I thought it was a fun cooperative dice rolling game. I love dice, so it got me there. And it's cooperative, my most favorite way to play. I think the components are good quality, as David showed you, and the art is really nice.
Yeah, I forgot to say that the art is really good.
That's nice. I found it easy to play because David taught me how to play, and I caught on really quick. I think the theme is a fun mixture of all three movies. I'm not offended by any of it. I like how you just kind of move through all three movies, just
Yeah, you're
calmly.
okay with that.
I think the cards add to replayability, meaning that you're always taking one out of the group. There's 7 cards, so
Right,
one's
and
always
then-
missing.
And then you don't know what's
And you don't know
hidden,
what's, yep.
and you don't know the numbers are going to change.
So it's
every time.
always going to play different, which is really fun. And I think the playing time is decent with 2 players, and that's a big thing for me. I don't get, it goes really fast when we're not teaching it, and so we can zip through pretty quick.
Again, I just wanted to show the art again, because I failed to mention that. It is really good art, and it's not screen grabs, which is nice.
And you feel like, you're playing in the movie. You're seeing these awful,
Right, but
scary things.
Some people are going to have a hard time accepting the fact that the Fellowship is trying to stay together through the whole game.
Again, I had no problem with it, so...
Well, again, I did at first.
I know you did, but I didn't. I just, maybe it's because I'm more easygoing. I don't know. I don't have to be like, ooh, it has to be exactly the same.
Well, again, that's the biggest warning for this game, is if you're alpha player, it could be alpha player issues. It's inspired by the movies, and it might be too much luck for some.
True.
For us, we like family weight games.
Yes.
I don't want to play a 2-3 hour Fantasy Flight Lord of the Rings game or 4 hour.
No.
We sold the War of the Ring game. I didn't want to play a war game based on Lord of the Rings.
This is my kind of fun game.
This is just right.
Yep.
So thanks for watching.
Thanks so much. Please don't forget to like and
Yeah,
subscribe.
you watch our How to Play and Playthrough, and you can find out
Yes.
if we survive or not.
We'll see you in the next video, guys.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.